God loved me and accepted me. That's why I watch it. Listen.
What is justice?
Listen.
What is justice?
Guys, I'm not. Listen. I'm not going to answer these questions. The only reason I'm
I don't believe that you're actually going to really do this.
The reason I'm a Christian is because I believe it's not. I believe it's not that I have to do certain things. It's just I have a relationship with God, and I've had an
Direct or indirect?
I've had a relationship. I've
Direct or
had
indirect?
an encounter with God.
No,
has
direct or
spoken.
indirect?
What do you mean direct?
Because I know for sure Christians have an indirect relationship with God, unlike Muslims. We have a direct relationship. We ask God directly. But you cannot do that. You have to go through someone else. Okay, when you want to pray to God, do you go to Him directly or do you have to go through Jesus? He says, no one comes to the Father but through?
But because you believe.
Sure. Can you go to the Father directly or do you have to go through Jesus?
I can go to the Father, but
No, not according to Jesus. Jesus says no one can come to the Father except through me. So you have an indirect relationship.
Listen.
Do you want a direct relationship? You have to become Muslim.
Listen, bro.
Accept Islam and you'll have a direct relationship.
Listen, bro. The only reason I'm a Christian is because I've had an encounter with Jesus. Jesus spoken to me.
That's what I thought.
And
The only reason
what?
how you have become a Christian is
I'm
this
not-
encounter.
I can't express what.
How do you know
I
it
feel
was
to you,
Jesus?
guys. I can't.
And he wasn't
I can't
some
express.
bad spirit?
That's what I'm saying. I can't express it to you. Guys.
Yeah, but how do you know for sure it was
It's not something
an evil spirit?
This is not right. This is not right.
You see, look, imagine now, imagine now, I have an encounter with God and God tells me that God is one and only. Now, are you going to
I don't
be
feel
able
convicted
to
into.
argue
I don't
against
feel
it?
like talk-
But
I
don't
don't
get-
feel like arguing, guys.
listen,
Honestly,
don't get
honestly, I don't want to.
hesitated.
I don't want to argument. I don't want nothing.
And you know what?
I
I
don't
found
want to.
it.
Is
I'm
it
gonna be
just-
honest with you.
Listen,
No,
I'm
it's not an argument.
I'm not the most theological
No,
guy.
it's
I
not
don't
theology.
know. I know
Common
all of-
sense,
I'm not-
right?
okay, but the only
Is it
reason-
just to punish him for the sins of everyone else, an innocent person? Is it just? Do you believe in justice, first of all?
But that's
Is
our
God just and demand justice?
That's our just.
I'm sure you believe that. You believe God is just, I believe God is just. God demands justice, so we should all implement justice on earth. Kingdom of God should be based on what? Justice. Not just total, like you do whatever you want to do and I'm going to say you're okay. Right? So, do you think it's just that this man is punished for his sin?
It's not just, but I
but
found
this is-
I found it really like disrespectful, yeah. That you come in here and you said to me like, no, I don't think you can forgive. That I have been through that. And
Are
I
you
see
playing
how
emotional now?
No, wait, I'm not playing emotional, yeah.
I've had this before.
No, listen to me. I'm not playing. You don't have to be moved by
No,
my tears.
look.
You need to respect what I'm doing and what
No,
I'm
I'm saying, why is there
Let
need
me-
for
let me just
tears
finish.
anyway in the first place?
Can I
Why
just-
are you emotional? Why are you emotional?
Why can I be?
What we were discussing is, you are asking God.
I'm gonna finish what I'm gonna say. It's really disrespectful, yeah. In a way that you say that we don't forgive. That I have been through that situation. Listen, we don't want to do this.
I'm
We
not
don't
saying
wanna
you
be
don't
arguing.
forgive. I'm
You know
sure
why? Because
there
you're
are
really
people who can forgive.
hesitating in us. If you're really hesitating, but do you want us to become? We can believe in what you believe. But how is it going to change?
I don't want you to be unjust. We would like you to be just persons. Just person means you deal with the people who are criminals. You're saying, no, it doesn't matter what their crime is, we forgive them, we love them, we continuously love them, right? We pray for them, and they continue to do even harm to us more. They rape and they plunder and they cheat and they kill and they murder, they loot, they commit genocide, infanticide, ethnic cleansing, and we just love them and carry on loving them and forgiving them.
As
Right.
I told you since the beginning,
This is not what God did in the Old Testament. So you don't believe in the same God. In the Old Testament, look what God did. God sent his army and says, go to the city and kill, smite, slaughter, man, woman, children, babies, donkeys, asses. Do you know why? Is that his love?
Listen,
Why did God do that?
I'm not gonna,
Why did God do that?
I'm not going to raise my voice or anything.
No.
And I
I'm being emotional, I'm sorry.
It's alright,
But
bro, it's
why
alright.
did God do that?
It's alright. And I understand what you said in the Old Testament, God was punishing.
It's the same God,
but
right?
This is why Jesus came, man. So Jesus
No.
can save God.
Is he not the same God?
All the anger, all this.
Is he
all
not the
that-
same
all
God,
that
though?
sinful, all of because the people of God was always seeking a way to reach God. They all of these stories, Abraham, it was all a story to reach God. And so people, so obviously God was angry. So this is my concept of Jesus. Jesus came. So through him, I don't have to feel like this. I don't have to feel like the people of God. I need to sacrifice. So through Jesus, now I have a direct relationship with God. So that's what I believe.
That's injustice.
That's
Innocent man
you believe
to be
that.
slaughtered
that.
and to be put on crucifixion. That is injustice.
Wait. We want to be partial in here, yeah? You believe that you're going to heaven, yeah? I believe that I'm going to heaven. I will see you there. Why are we fighting in here?
But I'm saying, according to our belief,
But this is not. Do you think this is
actually no.
good debate?
No. What I'm saying is, according to our belief, this is what God says, whoever ascribes a partner unto God, like ascribing a son, paradise is forbidden. Hellfire is the only destination. Look how I feel now. I'm feeling that anyone who ascribes a son to God or a daughter to God, they will never smell paradise. They will remain in hellfire, eternal punishment and suffering, torture for eternity to eternity. Look at the consequence. It's mind-boggling. How can people ascribe partners to God? You seem to be quite happy ascribing partners to God. You're saying, you know what, God has a son, and yet when analyzed, Jesus, he doesn't know when hours come. He says, the son doesn't know, the father knows. You know that God is a being who knows everything. Anyone who doesn't know something now couldn't have been all-knowing in the past. So an ignorant person cannot be God, qualified in any way, shape or form. An ignorant person who is not God is not even worthy of worship. The one who is worthy of worship, you would accept and agree, is the one and only, the all-wise, the almighty, the all-knowledgeable, the eternal, the absolute. But the picture that you're giving me about Jesus Christ, he doesn't know everything, so he doesn't know when the fruit's going to be in the season or not. He doesn't know who touched him, because someone touched him in the crowd. He says, who touched me? Because clearly I can see power has gone over me, and this woman with menstrual problems is healed. He doesn't even know. So clearly the Bible describes he is actually someone who is not all knowledgeable. He says, I have been sent. God is not sent by anyone. Do you understand something? God is the one who does the sending of the prophets and messengers. But you have a picture. He is sent. He says, I have been sent. I mean, not according to my will. I do things not according to my will, but according to your will. In the Garden of Gethsemane, do you know what he was doing in the Bible? He was weeping and crying. He says, let this cup be away from me. Not according to my will, but according to your will. He is surrendering himself as a Muslim. This is what Islam is. Submission and surrender to God. He was surrendering his will to God. He says, not according to my will, but according to your will. O our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy will. Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come, right? Thy glory forever and forever. So Jesus Christ is making very clearly, God that you and I should worship is the God who is in heaven, not the one who is on earth,
There's one thing I want to
who's
say.
come down, you believe, because God is God who is almighty. But you ascribe Jesus Christ divine attributes and know that he's not actually divine.
That's one thing I want to say. It's like in the Bible says that our justice is not God's justice, and that's one thing. Our justice is that. It's like we want this, we want that punishment. If that happens to you, this is gonna happen. But that's the thing. That's our justice. But God says, my justice is not your justice. That's one thing. And then there's another thing that it says. Here you haven't killed, you haven't raped a girl, you haven't done anything, you haven't robbed, but in your head you have sex with a person in your mind. You have robbing a person in your mind. You have done stuff in your mind, yeah? So if you're doing all this stuff in your mind, you think it's fine because you haven't done it.
No, I
But
don't
for
think it's
God-
fine.
But for God, it's bad. So how is your mind and your heart? Like you all the time are good. We know all the time good. And no one in here. No
But we
one
have to
in
cleanse
here.
our heart
You see a girl
and our
and
mind.
You go and see a girl like this. You go
So we have
again
to
and see
cleanse
the girl.
ourselves.
No. Like you see a girl and you straight away like God, seriously, align my thoughts to you because I don't want to think in a wrong way.
We are in agreement into this. We should stop doing about fight our lusts and our greed and all these desires. And this is what Islam trains you to do. Islam trains you constantly to be a person who is having relationship only in a legal aspect, like in marriage, not outside marriage. So there is no fornication, there is no adultery, there is no girlfriend in Islam. But you'd accept that in Christianity now you have boyfriends and girlfriends. You should have that either. You should have no boyfriends and girlfriends. You should just suddenly say, okay, now let's get married.
But that's
Because
not
what is a
true.
boyfriend and
Because
girlfriend? You
usually
come
love
close to
person.
each other. No, how can you love someone when you have no relationship yet? Because the only relationship you have when you have a husband and a wife. When you're not even married, you can't even just love that person as a really like you do your wife or your husband. That's lust. Imagine now someone's a boyfriend and girlfriend and they're having this, I like him so much, and that's lust. You should stop that from happening. So in Christianity, the whole concept doesn't even work because you need to start getting married first.
That's not true. I'm sorry to correct you there.
Okay.
But that's not true because
Tell
I
me,
believe,
tell me, tell me.
I believe
So how does Christians get married?
Yeah, I believe myself, this is personally, yeah? Because marriage doesn't start just before you know married. Marriage starts since you the whole thing, yeah? You need to have God in the before and after. If I like someone, I'm not. This is the thing. If I like someone, I'm not gonna be like, as you say, and that's last. Or I like the guy. I'm thinking in the like God. I feel this feeling because I'm weak. And I like man. I'm not gonna be like, no, I don't like no. God, I wanna put this feeling in your hands, and if it's your will, He's gonna do it. I don't have to push his stuff. I don't have to go to the guy and put the arm around. I don't have the guy to kiss the guy. No. And I said this to my friends. Yeah, I'm not gonna kiss a man until the day I'm gonna be in an altar and be married to a man. For some people, it's really extreme, even for Muslim people, because I have seen Muslim people and Christian people, couples, not be married, and they kiss.
That's
I'm
what
not
they
gonna
do.
do it.
So that's very
For
good.
me,
That's
it's
very
bad.
good. So you're trying to follow the teaching.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, but you will still have the lust against that person. This is still lust, and that's adultery. When you feel for someone, then you're going to be close to someone. What is this?
So
He's
you
not
wanna
married
like
to you.
You want like a rearrangement?
No, I'm
like,
asking. No, I'm asking you. Look at the practicalities. This individual is not married to you. You're not married to that person, but you are actually feeling this connection. That's lust. That's not acceptable. That's adultery according to the Bible. So you commit adultery before you get married. There's no other way when you're connected with someone.
No. You need to. There's a thin line, and I'm really good at this. This is a thin line. Obviously, you like women. I like men, and there's a lot. Otherwise, you wouldn't be married. Yeah, this is the only thing. Marriage is not just created to create. Yeah, marriage was created to enjoy with your partner, to have that relationship first with that person. This is one thing. If you like a woman, if you like a woman, and if you like a guy, this doesn't mean that that is last until there you go. Until you start having thoughts in your head and you allow that to go in your heart. And then that's why when you start thinking, being a wife in your head, acting like a wife, knowing that that's not your husband, that is good, and you're running.
Okay, so I can see where the thin line is. Very good. I hope Christians behave this way. Then it will be a very nice world rather than the sexual promiscuity that we are saying, right? Okay, so no problem with that. That's fine. I mean, this is the system that you have. In our system, in Islam, then we have to get married, and then love will blossom. No problem. So I would like to leave with these thoughts that we discussed, right? Worship the one who is worthy of worship. The only being who is worthy of worship is the only true God, who has all the absolute attributes, perfect attributes, not deficient attributes. Anyone who shows deficiency in attributes is not perfect. If you're not perfect, you're not worthy of worship. That is why anyone can claim I'm God, but they will all show deficiency. Either they're limited, they're finite, and they're dependent. God is an absolute being who's independent. So when you have the Father, the question that I asked you before, the Father and the Son, is the Father dependent on the Son for his existence? The answer is no. The Father can exist without the Son. He's independent of the Son for his existence, for his life. So if the Father can continue his life without the Son is redundant. You don't need the Son for God to be God, Father to be God. So here you have the problem. You have a one God who is totally independent, God by himself, and you have another being who is also God. That's another God. And you have another God, three. So why do you settle for tritheism? You say, no, actually it's not tritheism, that's triunitheism, or Trinity. They work together. Three gods working together. If you're independent, you can't compromise because you're independent. Imagine one of the gods says, you know what, I've got something in my head, something, I have a thought. I'm going to keep it secret. That's what the Father says. Can he keep it secret from the Son? The Son is all knowledgeable in your belief, even though textually not. The Son would find out. The Father is incapable to keep his plan secret. More than one absolute is a rational impossibility. It's an illogical thing. So, if one of them says, I want to kill him and annihilate him from existence, the other one says, no, I want to make him alive for another 100 years. What's going to happen to absolute being in this? So you say no, they will have to compromise. The moment you compromise, you're not most high anymore. You're not the Almighty. You are actually becoming lower and weak. You're not the most sublime. Yeah? So that's why we're saying the only being worthy of worship that makes sense is the one and only God who is absolute. One and only. Not two, three, or two in one, or three in one, like in Christianity. So leave with this thought, ponder more. No one's going to take your belief away because you believe, that's yours, and that's between you and God. No one can force your belief, but you need to make sure, you have to make sure that you have the correct belief, because in the day of judgment, I cannot help you, you cannot help me. I will be standing in front of God, nafsi, myself, trying to see what have I done, what have I believed. Am I going to now be saved of what I've done? This is how we will be. So you can't just rely on, someone's going to come and help you and so on and so forth. No. There might be some intercession, like we believe Prophet ﷺ can intercede, but this is a bonus. You have no right to say, you have to intercede. Okay? So you have to really be by yourself. So that's why it's important for what we believe is the correct belief. Because if we got the wrong belief, we all know we will be doomed. That's why it's so serious. That's why I brought this up. I apologize first, should I even bring it, but it's important for us to discuss this. Important for us to discuss this because we both believe in God. Okay, our concepts differ, but we need to believe in the correct God so that we all go to heaven. That's all we want. That we are saved from hellfire. Isn't that the case? Okay, so let's work on it. Let's re-examine our faith ourselves and continuously pray to God so that we are guided to Him. To his religion, to his way, to his straight path. Okay? And this is where the success lies. That we are actually not arrogant people, we are humble and weak, and we constantly ask for help and God guidance. Okay? So let's leave it to that. It's quite late, we have to go.
What's your name, bro?
Okay, I'm Mansoor. Your name?
Mansoor, Lewis. Nice to meet you.
Lewis, nice to meet you.
Your name
Sorry,
is
okay.
Joaquin.
Nice to meet you.
Joaquin,
What's your
nice to
name?
meet you.
Diana, okay? Take care. Don't spend too much time because
man.
Speaker's Corner at
Do
this
you
time
know
of the night,
I just wanna
you might
get
have
it.
some
It's easy.
crazy discussions, so
You know
leave
what?
that discussion.
And society's so messed up, this and that. And